Friends, family, and military members all gathering to mourn the loss of an Air Force cadet who was killed during Memorial Day weekend. How she was remembered, coming up. Kylie says we could be in for a soggy Sunday as storms make their way towards North Texas. When it will clear up, next. China denouncing U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth after he called the country a threat to global security. Good Day Sunday starts right now.
Good Day Sunday, here for you on Fox 4.
Welcome back. Thanks for starting the morning with us. I'm Tisia Muzinga. Let's get right to the forecast because Kylie's tracking storms out there.
We are tracking some storms. They haven't quite crossed over the Red River yet, but I do expect several of those storms up in Oklahoma to survive the trip south. The strongest storms could produce some brief gusty winds as well as some small hail, but the overall severe weather threat with this morning complex is pretty low. Now, after we heat up a little bit more humidity surges in. A few more storms will be possible later today, especially for southern parts of North Texas, and a couple of those could be on the strong to severe side. And guess what? We look to stay unsettled all week long. Here's a current look at satellite and radar. You can see a couple of those storms approaching northern parts of Montague and Grayson counties. And yes, the strongest cells are still up in Oklahoma. I do expect several of these storms to impact areas north of I-20 and east of I-35 through about 12 o'clock this morning. We'll likely see a little bit of a break through early afternoon. And then after we heat up more, I expect additional storms to develop south of I-20 along a lingering boundary. Temperatures across the board, you already start to feel some changes if you're up early and headed out the door. We're in the upper 60s and low 70s to start. The mugginess isn't horrible this morning, but it will start to increase this afternoon. In fact, I expect dew points to soar into the upper 60s later on today, which means highs in the mid to upper 80s will likely feel like the low 90s once we factor in that added humidity. Again, just keep the radar handy pretty much all afternoon with a couple of showers and storms possible depending on where you live. I'll talk more about that in detail with our Futurecast and talk about what you can expect to see through the rest of the week coming up.
All right, Kylie, thank you. All right, protesters took to the Texas state capitol as lawmakers get ready to wrap up the legislative session. Why they're calling for the veto of multiple bills before they're signed. And a North Texas man fed up with stolen mail is putting his frustrations to good use, actually. A look at his creation that does more than just hold letters.
Good Day continues at 7:30 a.m. here on Fox 4.
Welcome back. Thanks for starting your morning with us. I'm Tisia Muzinga. All right, Kylie, it's the first day of the month, and we are being welcomed with some storms out there.
Yeah, you know, in typical June fashion, Tisia, this first full week.
Turn things to Kylie. You think things will clear out by the end of the week? Hopefully.
At this point, we're keeping pretty active weather around all week long. I do think by next weekend, things will be more hit or miss. But notice those daily rain and storm chances continue every single day this week. This morning, we're tracking a complex of storms crossing over the Red River as we speak, likely impacting far northeastern parts of North Texas. So we'll keep you updated all day long, both on air and online.
For sure. All right. Thank you, Kylie. And thank you guys for tuning in this weekend. We have more news at fox4news.com, and we'll see you again at 9 o'clock. Have a good day.